It is now our pleasure to introduce HRC's interim president, Joni Madison.
With you tonight. Lord, I have missed you. Am I a little train rusty? It is so good to be here tonight. Hey, first, I just want to do a special thanks to our amazing dinner chairs, Michael Westwood, Dolores Kavrigaru, and Interim Vishnu Bhakta for bringing us all together. I certainly know it takes a ton of work from our wonderful volunteer leadership to put on a dinner, and you did an amazing job. Look what you did. I also want to thank the members of our HRC Board of Governors that are based here, Greg Battaglia, Dolores Kavrigaru, Chris Fazier, Maria Fazzulo, Stephen Gossman, Michael Kay, Joe Malizio, Kelly Moffitt, John Morrison, Marcia Namowitz, Joseph Platia, Christopher Shrim, and Interim Vishnu Bhakta. We've got a lot of them in New York, and they are amazing leaders. We also have members of our HRC Board of Directors here, Jay Kuo, Johnny Lee, Lauren Varuzio, Jody Patterson, Henry Robin, Jamal Webster, and Jay Sethi. And we have, thank you, all right. There's Diageo right there, Jay. And visiting members of our HRC Board of Directors, Morgan Cox, Todd Hawkins, and Justin Makita. Thank you all, my HRC family. Thank you all for your incredible leadership. And I'm going to take a special moment to do a special shout out to a woman who is near and dear to my heart. I just want to recognize Patty Ellis, who has completed her board service with the HRC Board of Directors earlier this year. Thank you, Patty. You are amazing for all you've done for New York and for HRC. And thank you, Jamal, for that kind introduction. My name is Joni Madison. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the interim president of the Human Rights Campaign. I have been fighting for LGBTQ equality at HRC since 2000. And tonight, if you'll indulge me just a bit, I want to share a little bit about how I got started and why I do this work. In the late 90s, my wife, Gina, and I were invited to an HRC dinner by a dear friend, and a dinner that's not that different from tonight, especially now that 90s fashions are kind of making a comeback. I see you, pleather person over there, I see you. I was really impressed, especially by what was being said. The speakers were inspiring as they laid out plans to achieve real, immediate change, not 15 years down the road, but right now. Then, several months later, it was election night 2000, Al Gore versus George W. Bush. We thought he was bad. It was past midnight, and the major networks just called Florida for Bush. I sat there alone in horror. George W. Bush had viciously and repeatedly used the LGBTQ+ community as a wedge issue in his campaign. With tears streaming down my face, I just kept repeating to myself, someone needs to do something. Someone needs to do something. And then it dawned on me, no, Joni, you need to do something. So I did, And for the next 22 years, working alongside so many of you here in the ballroom tonight, I put my time and money where my desire for change was. That's what I'm still doing today. Now, 22 years is a long time, but in the scope of our nation's history, it's actually no time at all, which is why it's even more remarkable that in these 2 decades, building on the work of generations before, we have achieved historic progress for our community. It's not an overstatement that together we have truly changed the course of this nation. But here's the thing. Progress is not a plaque you can just stick up on a wall. Progress is a promise we keep to ourselves and the ones that come after us. And right now, our progress is under attack like never before. Folks, we are at code red. This is not a drill. Our community is in a state of emergency. Last month, Governor DeSantis signed a law that makes it illegal for me to say LGBTQ+ in a Florida classroom. Think about it, illegal. Then last week, DeSantis signed the Stop Woke Act. This bill is yet another attempt to silence us, to stop us from having honest conversations about racism and sexism and about the injustice that our communities face. DeSantis is determined to tell Floridians what they can say, what they can learn, what they can teach, what they can believe, and who they can be. Last week, Florida leaders put out a memo suggesting that trans kids should not be allowed any gender-affirming care at all. That includes stopping kids from having haircuts and outfits that reflect who they are. In the United States, in this city, and it was not too long ago, it used to be illegal to dress in clothes that didn't align with your gender assigned at birth. DeSantis is trying to drag trans kids and our entire community backward. And it's not just about Florida and Governor DeSatan. Yeah, I said it, DeSatan. Across the country, lawmakers are copying and pasting their way through a playbook of hate. Arkansas has passed a law making gender-affirming care for trans kids illegal. Alabama not only made this care illegal, they made it a felony for a doctor to provide it and for parents to seek it. Governor Abbott in Texas is not only trying to make this care illegal, he's trying to prosecute parents and doctors as child abusers. I've met parents who are sending their trans kids to school with the number of their family attorney in their backpacks in case Child Protective Services call. Some families in these states have been forced to pick up their entire lives and leave so their kids can get the health care they need. One parent shared with me, "I'm choosing to mourn my home rather than mourn my child." But there are families who don't have that option. They can't afford to just pack up and leave. There are kids who have no place else to go. The transgender community, particularly Black trans women, are already facing an epidemic of violence and an epidemic fueled by transphobia, racism, and misogyny. These lawmakers, they're simply pouring gasoline on a wildfire. They're going on Fox News and reclaiming vintage hand-me-down hate, calling us predators and groomers. Marjorie Taylor Greene has called our community pro-pedophile. But at the exact same time, one of her staunchest allies, Matt Gaetz, is under federal investigation for alleged sex crimes with a minor. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey went out of her way to attack trans kids under the guise of protecting the children. But she supported Roy Moore even after news came out that he engaged in sexual misconduct with 14-year-olds. It's disgusting. It is clear that these leaders do not care at all about protecting your children. Their hypocrisy is vile. Their actions are vile. Their rhetoric is vile. They are painting a target on our back and then telling folks it's okay to go ahead and shoot. And we know it's not just LGBTQ plus people who are endangered by extremists peddling hateful lies. How many women of Asian descent in New York City are preparing for an attack when they take the subway or walk around their own neighborhood? How many people attend houses of worship with armed guards at the door? No person should have to worry for their safety because of who they are, or who they love, or how they worship. Our mission here today is liberation, and we will never get there, not as a movement, not as a nation, while some of us live in comfort and the rest of us live in fear. While the trans kid in Texas wonders if today is the day Child Protective Services shows up at her front door. While the queer teen in Michigan wonders today is the day he gets pulled over for driving while black. While my niece in a small town in the South wonders if today is the day she gets assaulted for holding her girlfriend's hand. I will say it again. We are at code red. This is an emergency. And we can't just turn on the bat signal and wait to be rescued. We have to be our own damn superheroes. Like the superheroes who came before us, like Marsha P. Johnson, and Sylvia Rivera, and Stormy DeLavarre, and all the foot soldiers at the liberation of Stonewall. I remember hearing that when Stormy was being dragged away by police that night. Stormy turned to the crowd and asked, "Are you guys going to do something?" Well, folks, are we going to do something? Yeah! Let me hear you. Because the revolution isn't over, the revolution is tonight. And it's going to take all of us, every single one of us, to win. We have all ticked the first box, which is showing up. Just by showing up, you are making a difference. But to turn the tide, we can't just show up. We have to ramp it up. If you're fired out right now, great. And if you're donating, thank you, and thank you again. But we need this to be the start of your advocacy, not the end. We need your help to get out the vote, work the phones, pound the pavement, knock on doors. We need you to ask your elected leaders and your employers to get off the sidelines and actually pick a side. It's not enough for me to stand up here and make the ask. I can't be in your boardroom. I can't be at your school board meeting. I can't be at your family barbecue, although I do love a good barbecue. It has to be you. It has to be you. You have to tell the people in your life exactly how high the stakes are, how they are coming for all of us. Let me tell you, friends, there is no security in complacency. We have to name it. There are people asking why they should get involved because they think they're going to be okay, because they are cis, because they are white, because they are well-to-do. Many movements are guilty of this. HRC has been guilty of this. But we must change. The safety of every single member of our community must be our priority, because that's what liberation requires, and because that's the only way we save ourselves. Let's be clear. They're not going to stop here. Our reproductive rights are on the line. Our right to vote is on the line. Our families are on the line. Our lives are on the line. As LGBTQ plus people, we need to be putting it all on the line. And we need all of our allies to hold the line with us. And that includes our business allies. You have been a major force in our fight for LGBTQ rights. Thank you. We so appreciate you. But we need more from you. Pride is just 1 month away. How will you be showing up this year? Because putting out new Pride merch and throwing coupons from a float is just not gonna cut it. Touting your HRC CEI score while donating to politicians who call us pedophiles is just not gonna cut it. We need corporations to get off the sidelines and actually pick a side. We need every single person who cares about where this nation is headed to get off the sidelines and actually pick a side, our side, the right side of history. Right now, HRC and our partners, we're doing all that we can. We're on the front lines, lobbying, organizing, rallying, literally working 24/7 to protect kids in our entire community. And many of you are right out there with us, telling the world that we refuse to be erased. Your support means so much to us and so much to the people out there who feel like there is no one on their side. And yet we still need more from you. Because this is an emergency. And because we are not here to just play defense, we are here to keep equality moving forward, to elect pro-equality champions like Governor Hochul and Senator Schumer, to pass the Equality Act, to end the HIV epidemic, to end the epidemic of violence against our trans and non-binary family. We all need to show up for our trans, non-binary, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and queer kid, that there is no height that they can't reach. And to give them the tools they're going to need to carry the light and the fight forward, so that the progress they achieve is as critical and as transformational as what we have already accomplished. And so that when they face their own challenges, their new set of challenges 20 or 40 years from now, and I know they will, they can look back and they can see how hard we fought, how we danced and kicked ass and never ever gave up. That we chose to do something, and that together we gave them a future worth fighting for. Thank you.